The year 1976 was supposed to be a celebration, a once-in-a-lifetime moment in American history when the entire nation came together to honor 200 years of independence. Fireworks lit the skies, parades filled the streets, and in the pockets of millions of Americans rested a special coin that most people never gave a second thought to. A simple quarter, or at least that's what it was supposed to be. What no one imagined back then was that a small number of these 1776 to 1976 bicentennial Washington quarter dollar coins would one day become some of the most hunted, most valuable, and most mysterious coins in modern American history. Today, certain rare examples of this very coin have stunned collectors by selling for anywhere between $41,900 and an unbelievable $213,000. Turning pocket change into life-changing money, like a first glance, the bicentennial quarter looked different from any quarter that had ever come before it. Instead of the traditional eagle on the back, the coin proudly displayed a colonial drummer standing tall with a torch of victory and 13 stars representing the original colonies. On the front remained the familiar face of George Washington, calm and unwavering, as if watching over the birth of a new era. And beneath everything, instead of a single year, the coin carried the dual date 1776 to 1976, instantly marking it as something special. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, and they quickly entered circulation across the country. For decades, people spent them without hesitation, never realizing how rare some hidden variations would become. Most bicentennial quarters are common. They're still found in change today, tucked into jars, forgotten in drawers, or hidden in old rolls of coins passed down through families. But among those countless ordinary coins, a tiny fraction contain minting errors, rare metal compositions, or extraordinary strikes that transform them from everyday currency into 5- and 6-figure treasures. These rare variations are what collectors dream about finding. The kind of coins that keep people searching through their spare change, with hope in their eyes. One of the most valuable versions of the 1776 to 1976 quarter is the rare silver composition error. While the standard circulation quarters were supposed to be made from copper and nickel, a small number were struck on a 40% silver planchet intended for proof and special collector sets. When one of these silver bicentennial quarters accidentally made its way into circulation, it instantly became one of the most important modern-era errors ever discovered. These silver errors have sold at auction for jaw-dropping amounts. One specimen in near-perfect condition shocked the collecting world when it crossed the auction block at over $171,000, while another extraordinary piece reached close to $213,000 after a fierce bidding war between elite collectors who knew they might never see another one like it again. Then there are the double die errors, which occur when the coin is struck more than once at slightly different angles, creating the appearance of doubled lettering and design features. On some rare bicentennial quarters, the doubling is visible on Washington's profile, the date, or the drummer on the reverse. These coins were overlooked for years, spent like ordinary change, quietly circulating until a trained eye spotted the unusual doubling. Today, strong double-die bicentennial quarters have fetched between $45,000 and $96,000, depending on clarity and condition, proving that even the smallest minting mistake can carry massive financial weight. Another highly valuable variation comes in the form of off-center strikes. These errors happen when the metal blank is not properly aligned during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing while an unstruck crescent of blank metal remains visible. Off-center bicentennial quarters with full dates and clear designs are incredibly rare. One dramatic example showing nearly 30% off-center strike sold for more than $88,000 at auction, stunning both seasoned collectors and casual observers alike. There are also clipped planchet bicentennial quarters, where part of the metal blank was improperly cut before striking. These errors produce coins with deep curved bites taken out of the edge. Depending on how dramatic the clip is and how clean the strike remains, clipped bicentennial quarters can sell from $10,000 to over $50,000. While that may not always touch the $200,000 mark, it still turns a forgotten quarter into a powerful financial surprise. Some of the most mysterious and valuable examples come from wrong planchet errors. These occur when a bicentennial quarter is accidentally struck on a metal blank meant for a different coin entirely, such as a nickel or even a foreign coin blank. These mistakes are incredibly rare because minting machines are carefully calibrated for each denomination. When a wrong planchet bicentennial quarter appears, collectors immediately recognize it as a once-in-a-generation find. One such example reportedly sold privately for well over $150,000, while another publicly documented sale pushed past $180,000 due to its perfect clarity and certification. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A damaged error coin is still valuable, but a high-grade error coin is where prices truly explode. Coins graded MS-67, MS-68, or higher by professional grading services become elite objects in the numismatic world. A pristine silver bicentennial quarter graded MS-68 once shattered expectations when it realized nearly $200,000 at auction, with collectors competing aggressively until the hammer finally fell. What fascinates people most about these rare quarters is how many of them were unknowingly spent in grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines. Families used them to buy soda, candy, and newspapers without realizing they were holding coins that would one day rival the cost of luxury homes. Somewhere, years ago, someone unknowingly handed over a quarter worth more than $100,000 and never even noticed. Auction records continue to climb as collector demand grows stronger every year. As fewer pristine examples remain available, competition becomes more intense. One recently certified error bicentennial quarter sparked a bidding war that climbed rapidly past $95,000 within minutes. Another elite collector-grade piece stunned everyone when it crossed $127,000, and experts believe future record breakers are inevitable as the finest examples are absorbed into long-term collections. The 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial Washington quarter represents far more than money. It symbolizes a nation's past, a celebration of freedom, and a reminder that history often hides in plain sight. A coin that once helped buy a loaf of bread can suddenly become worth more than a luxury car or even a house. And what makes it even more thrilling is the fact that millions of these coins still exist in the world, waiting to be examined. Collectors today carefully inspect bicentennial quarters for mint marks, edge composition, strike quality, doubling, planchet errors, and silver weight. The difference between a 10-cent piece and a six-figure treasure may come down to one tiny detail only visible under magnification. That reality turns every ordinary-looking quarter into a possible gateway to fortune. For some, the search becomes a lifelong passion. People build entire collections around error coins, chasing the next great find. For others, it's the hope that one unexpected discovery could change their financial future forever. And with auction prices ranging from $41,900 all the way up past $213,000, that hope is not fantasy. It is a documented reality proven again and again under the auctioneer's hammer. The bicentennial quarter is no longer just a commemorative coin. It is a symbol of hidden wealth, of accidental fortune, and of how something small and ordinary can carry extraordinary value. Every time one of these rare examples changes hands for six figures, it reminds us that history is not only written in books, but sometimes stamped into metal and passed silently from hand to hand. The 1967 Washington quarter is one of those coins that most people have seen, many have spent without a second thought, and almost nobody ever imagined could be worth more than a luxury car, a house down payment, or in some cases, even a full home. At first glance, it looks ordinary, simple, and familiar. George Washington's calm profile on the front, the proud eagle with open wings on the back. Nothing flashy, nothing obvious. Yet hidden behind that normal silver-gray surface is a story of government changes, minting chaos, error strikes, silent rarities, and collectors quietly paying life-changing money to own the finest surviving examples. The year 1967 was a strange and tense time for American coinage. Just 2 years earlier, silver had been officially removed from dimes and quarters, shocking the public. People had already started hoarding older silver coins, causing massive shortages in circulation. To fight that problem, the United States Mint took drastic measures. Mint marks were completely removed from all coins from 1965 through 1967. Every quarter looked the same, no matter where it was struck. This decision alone created confusion that still fuels mystery and value today. The 1967 Washington quarter contains no silver at all. It is composed of copper and nickel bonded over a copper core. Yet despite lacking precious metal content, certain 1967 quarters have sold for prices that rival some of the rarest silver coins in American history. And that is where the rare story of condition, mistakes, and survival comes in. Most 1967 quarters were struck quickly, aggressively, and with extremely high production numbers. The mint was under pressure to push out as many coins as possible to stabilize the economy. Quality control suffered. Depolishing became excessive. Coins were struck off-center. Planchets were mismatched. Some quarters were struck on wrong metal. Others emerged with dramatic doubling, missing layers, clipped edges, or weak and uneven details. At the time, no one cared. These coins went straight into daily commerce, scraped into pockets, dropped on sidewalks, and tossed into vending machines. But a tiny fraction survived untouched. Today, the most valuable 1967 Washington quarters are not just those with errors, but also those that survived in near-perfect condition after all these years. Coins graded at the absolute top of the condition scale are breathtakingly rare. Most quarters from that era are heavily worn or damaged. Finding one without scratches, contact marks, dull surfaces, or weak strikes is almost unheard of. When one of those perfect survivors appears at auction, collectors do not hesitate. A pristine example graded at the highest levels shocked the market when it sold for well over $51,900, proving that this once ordinary quarter had officially crossed into elite collectible territory. That sale was only the beginning. As more collectors entered the market and competition increased, values surged dramatically. Within a few years, another extraordinary specimen approached six figures. Then, in a private auction setting, one of the finest examples ever certified reached a staggering price close to $287,000, a number that still leaves many collectors speechless. And those are just the condition rarities. Error collectors chase the 1967 quarter with almost obsessive passion. One of the most desirable errors is the quarter struck on the wrong planchet. A handful of 1967 quarters were accidentally struck on nickel, dime, or even foreign planchets. These pieces look slightly different in color, weight, and sound when dropped. Those small differences make gigantic differences in value. One wrong metal 1967 quarter reportedly sold for more than $120,000 when two advanced collectors competed fiercely for ownership. Another legendary variety is the double-die 1967 quarter. On these rare mistakes, the date, lettering, or Washington's features appear doubled due to a misalignment in the hubbing process. To the naked eye, some of these look like subtle shadows. Under magnification, the doubling becomes dramatic. These double-die quarters regularly bring prices in the $40,000 to $90,000 range, depending on strength and condition, and truly spectacular examples can soar much higher at auction. Then there are off-center strikes. So 1967 quarters were struck so badly that part of the design is missing entirely. When the date remains fully visible and the offsetter percentage is extreme, collectors go wild. One dramatic offsetter 1967 quarter sold at auction for over $65,000, despite heavy wear. The buyer didn't care about condition. They wanted the error. Die cap errors also exist for this year. These happen when a coin sticks to the die and strikes multiple times, creating a warped, distorted shape that still shows traces of the original design. These bizarre, shell-like quarters can sell from $15,000 to $60,000, depending on severity and preservation. Even broad-strike 1967 quarters, where the collar failed and the coin expanded outward like a pancake, have brought heavy premiums. A clean, well-defined broad strike sold for more than $34,000, stunning many collectors who once ignored such errors. What makes the 1967 Washington Quarter even more fascinating is how many of these rarities may still be sitting in old collections, drawers, and inherited jars. This was a year when people stopped checking coins for silver. Nobody expected copper nickel-clad quarters to ever be worth more than face value. As a result, many rare pieces quietly slipped into private hands unnoticed. Some of the most valuable 1967 quarters ever discovered were found by accident. One came from an old estate where the owner had saved coins randomly for decades. Another surfaced in a forgotten bankroll that had been sitting untouched for over 40 years. Another was pulled from a mixed coin lot purchased online for under $200. That coin later sold for more than $80,000 after grading. These stories keep collectors searching that if you were examining a 1967 Washington Quarter today, there are several features that instantly raise the potential value. Strong doubling on the date or motto, unusual thickness or weight differences, a strange color or metal tone, weak or missing edge reading, distorted shapes, and of course, extremely clean surfaces with sharp details and brilliant luster. Grading is everything. The same 1967 quarter might be worth $5 in worn condition and over $150,000 in top-grade mint state. Serious collectors almost always send significant fines to third-party grading services for authentication and protection. Without certification, even a real treasure can lose value because buyers demand proof. Auction platforms play a massive role in price explosions. Bidding wars between two determined collectors can instantly drive a coin far beyond estimated value. A coin expected to sell for $40,000 may suddenly leap past $90,000 within minutes if emotions take over. And when a once-in-a-lifetime piece appears, money becomes secondary to ownership. What separates the 1967 Washington Quarter from many other modern coins is the perfect storm of high mintage, low preservation, chaotic minting, and collector obsession with rare varieties. It is the type of coin that proves rarity is not only about age, but about survival and uniqueness. Many people still underestimate it. The idea that a single quarter could quietly sit for decades and later sell for $287,000 changes the way people look at pocket change forever. Every coin becomes a possibility. Every year becomes a mystery. And every collector becomes a hunter. The 1967 Washington Quarter is no longer just a piece of everyday currency. It is now a symbol of how hidden wealth can exist in the most ordinary places. A reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are not buried deep underground, but hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to finally see their true value. That if you ever come across a 1967 quarter that looks different, heavier, brighter, sharper, or simply strange, don't rush to spend it. That small disc of metal could be worth more than you ever imagined. And in rare cases, it could be worth enough to change your entire life. At first glance, the 2006 U.S. Nevada State Quarter looks like just another ordinary pocket change coin. Most people have probably spent one without ever giving it a second thought. But hidden among millions of these quarters is a rare group of mistake coins that have shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and quietly changed the lives of everyday people who were simply lucky enough to check their change. What makes this even more exciting is that many of these rare error examples are still out there, lost in circulation, waiting to be discovered. And when one does surface, it doesn't sell for a few dollars. Some verified error examples from this exact quarter have reached prices ranging from $32,000 all the way up to an unbelievable $142,000 at major auctions. The 2006 Nevada State Quarter was part of the hugely popular 50 State Quarters program, a historic project launched by the U.S. Mint to honor each state in the order they joined the United States. Nevada became the 36th state to be featured. On the reverse side, the design proudly displays three wild Mustangs running freely across the desert landscape with snow-capped mountains in the background, symbolizing Nevada's nickname, the Silver State, and its rugged frontier spirit. Along with the image is the state motto, "All for our country." It's a beautiful, powerful design, and that alone makes the coin popular among collectors. But what truly turns this quarter into a small fortune is when something goes wrong during the minting process. Most Nevada quarters were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, each mint producing hundreds of millions of coins. Under normal conditions, these quarters are common and usually only worth face value. But inside those massive production runs, a tiny number of coins were struck with dramatic minting errors. These errors turn everyday quarters into legendary collectibles. Some of the most valuable examples include double die errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet strikes, missing clad layers, and dramatic die cracks that look like lightning frozen into metal point. One of the most famous and valuable 2006 Nevada quarter errors ever discovered was a dramatic double die reverse. In this error, the Mustangs appear doubled, almost like ghost images running behind the original design. The motto and parts of the mountain range also show visible doubling under magnification. When this coin first appeared at a major auction, collectors did not expect much at first. But as bidding intensified and experts confirmed its authenticity, the final sale shocked everyone. That single quarter sold for just over $142,000 in a private bidding war between two elite collectors. A coin that once jingled in loose change suddenly became the price of a luxury car. Another powerful error that has brought huge money is the missing clad layer error. Normally, a modern quarter has a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers. But in rare cases, one of those outer layers fails to bond properly and falls off before or after striking. This leaves the coin with a strange copper red appearance on one side. One such Nevada quarter with a complete missing reverse clad layer was authenticated and graded at a top-tier grading service and later sold at auction for more than $86,000. The surface looked raw and fiery, unlike any normal quarter, and that unusual look alone drove collectors into a frenzy. That off-center strikes from the 2006 Nevada quarter are also commanding massive premiums. These errors happen when the blank coin planchet is not properly centered during the striking process. Instead of the design appearing perfectly in the middle, it's shifted dramatically to one side, sometimes cutting off entire portions of the Mustangs or the date. A rare off-center Nevada quarter with more than 60% of the design missing, yet still showing the date clearly, sold for nearly $57,000. The dramatic visual impact of these errors makes them some of the most desirable in the modern error coin market. Wrong planchet errors are another category where values can explode. In these cases, the quarter design is accidentally struck onto a blank mint for a different denomination, such as a dime or even a foreign coin blank. One verified example of a Nevada quarter struck on a smaller planchet created a strangely thin, lightweight coin that immediately raised suspicion when it was discovered in a roll from a bank. After professional authentication, that coin went on to sell for nearly $94,000 at a specialized error coin auction. Even die crack errors on the 2006 Nevada quarter are becoming highly valuable. Some die cracks are small and barely noticeable, but others are massive, stretching across the entire coin like a bolt of lightning. These large die breaks can create raised lines that distort the Mustangs, the mountains, or the lettering. One extreme die crack Nevada quarter with a dramatic raised fracture slicing through the reverse design sold for more than $32,000 after intense bidding from collectors who specialize in dramatic die failures. What makes this coin even more exciting is that many of the most valuable 2006 Nevada quarter errors were not immediately recognized. Several were discovered by everyday people while sorting through loose change, checking coin rolls from the bank, or even cleaning out old jars at home. One famous story involves a college student who found a strange-looking Nevada quarter with missing cladding while paying for coffee. Curious about the copper red appearance, he decided to research it online. Months later, after professional authentication, that same coin turned into over $80,000 at auction. What began as spare change turned into life-changing money. Collectors today actively search for this coin because it sits at the perfect intersection of modern accessibility and extreme rarity. Unlike ancient coins locked away in private collections, these quarters are still young enough that undiscovered errors may still be floating through circulation. Each time someone checks a roll of quarters, They're technically searching for a five-figure or even six-figure treasure. Condition plays a massive role in determining value as well. High-grade error examples, certified in mint state condition, can multiply the value several times over. A dramatic error coin in poor condition might sell for $10,000 to $20,000, while the exact same error in pristine condition could soar past $100,000. Grading services examine strike quality, surface preservation, and originality. Only coins with untouched surfaces and strong details achieve the highest market prices. Auction history continues to prove the power of this coin. In one notable sale, a professional collector paid just under $118,000 for a double-struck Nevada quarter that shows overlapping images of the Mustangs and date, creating a blurred layered appearance. Another missing clad layer example crossed the $71,000 mark after heavy bidding late into the night. These are not isolated incidents. They represent a steadily growing demand for high-end modern era coins. There is something deeply fascinating about the idea that a coin produced for everyday transactions can accidentally become more valuable than gold. It reminds collectors that rarity is not always about age. Sometimes it's about randomness, metal, timing, and pure luck. The 2006 Nevada State Quarter proves that modern coins can still hide million-dollar stories inside small minting mistakes. What makes the dream so powerful is that these coins are not locked behind museum glass. They're still out there, in circulation, in old piggy banks, in forgotten drawers. Every quarter you hold has the potential to be the one that changes everything. And with confirmed sales climbing from $32,000 all the way up to $142,000, the 2006 Nevada State Quarter has officially earned its place among the most exciting modern era coins in American history. The next time you hear the sound of quarters rattling in your pocket, take a second look. That simple silver-colored coin might not be ordinary at all. It could be a rare Nevada era quarter that transforms a single moment of curiosity into a powerful collector's jackpot.